Hello and a very warm welcome and good afternoon to all the students, faculties, to Badala sir and Hari Krishna Garu and Nivedita ma'am. Thank you for allowing us to do this here. And thanks to the three speakers who've agreed to present their journeys and philosophies of design to the young minds.
I extend a warm welcome to the Principal Roots College of Design, Film and Media, along with the Chairman, Mr. B.P. Padala Garu, ID members, speakers, fellow managing committee members, faculty and students from various colleges who could make it for this event. The Indian Institute of Interior Designers is the apex body for the interior designers in India and comprises of architects, interior designers, trade members, educationists and students. I would like to request Chairperson Roots, Mr. B.P. Padala, to please come forward and say a few words.
Very good afternoon to the delegates as well as the organizers. It's our privilege to host this interesting, insightful event in our college premises. Particularly relevant is that we had also launched a program in interior design 3 years back, and we are trying to find our feet. So it must be a very interesting session to our students too. So let's hope and look for the riveting sessions looking at the speakers list. Thank you.
We'll have the first speaker, Salim Qureshi sir. Put your hands together to welcome the first speaker for the event, architect Salim Qureshi sir.
It's a privilege to be here. My journey has been a very long journey and a very pleasant journey associated with architecture throughout my life. I want to tell you, there's a lot of things I want to tell you, but I want to stress on the point that sketching is a dying art. So today I'm going to show you sketches which span almost 45 years. This is pencil, ink and watercolor. Then these are sketches which I've been doing when I started my career. If you focus, this was I think in, I don't know, 82, 79, things like that. So these were done as concepts. This is a little later. What I'm showing you is the conceptual sketching, what you do as a first presentation, right? Now this sketch is one of my favorites, and sketches are with Flora's office. This is one fort project we are doing in near Bhopal, converting into a 5-star sort of resort. Again, back to Flora. This was one of my last sketches before leaving Toronto. Here in this sketch, you see the notations. Notations are very important. When you do a sketch, notation should be there because it explains what you have in mind, right? There's another hallway. I think you can read the notes, right? The title and so on and so forth. This is again, I think, 89 or 91, somewhere around that time. These are a few sketches I did when I was working with British Aerospace. So sketch could be a building, a small thing trying to depict some story you want to tell. This is again Mohammadgarh Fort project. These are series which I helped one of my students go through thesis she was doing on airports. So you'll find some kind of planes in the background, check-in counters, general sort of area where you come out. Again, a lobby, check-in, I think, the drop-off area. Again, back to the hotel. This is the outside of the airport. These are conceptual sketches done in about average of 20 to 25 minutes. So, now these are a series of watercolors done for the Royal Terminal, and we used to do these renderings with watercolor to show the fabric. Again, here you can see it on your right, the fabric feel, the silk, you can feel that silk. All these were done for the Royal Terminal, the flow patterns, the entrance hallway. This is the outside of that Royal Terminal drop-off area. So what I'm saying is, don't let the pencil fall off your hand. These are my collections of Haveli's watercolors and ink mostly. This is one of the golf courses. Again, a water rendering class. This is another bazaar kind of scene from the Middle East. And of course, our favorite Charminar. So thank you very much, guys. Nice being here.
Thank you so much, sir. And as rightly said by Manojji, at the present time when everybody is contemplating towards working only on a digital platform, it's very refreshing to see sketches and paintings and the relevance of the same, be it conceptual or be it the original. This is where we go to the next speaker for this event, and that is architect Amita Raj.
Thank you, sir, architects Qureshi, sir, for the wonderful presentation and talk. I mean, we could actually see your body of work in your sketches, and it's very rare to see one person doing so many sketches and with so much precision and detailing. Thank you so much. And good afternoon to one and all. To all my seniors present, it gives me immense pleasure to be standing here and presenting my journey. I'm going to take you briefly through 4 of my projects where every project may have used a context and a narrative. So I would like to start with the first project, which recently I've done. It's a salon in opposite KBR. The context is nature inspired. So the narrative or the story I'm trying to put across is what is the concept I've created, what made me choose that concept. So this is the context you see. You have this huge green oasis, the KBR park, and then you have that Art Beat Saloon right opposite that. So this was a challenge. The clients didn't want me to create a place with using trendy materials and the latest finishes and all that. They wanted me to look at KBR and then design. So it has to be in reference to the context of KBR because they just wanted a place which opens up to that. So the challenge here was, what do I do? How do I start? And I mean, we start looking at images of KBR, what the flora, fauna, the animal. So the hardscaping. So then we came across a board where we thought we should design using materials and textures. Use of natural materials like wood, like stone, like concrete in its bare form, and all that, which gives a sense of warmth, texture, and an authenticity to the place. Organic shapes, where we derive from the animals and the plants and all that, we try to use in furniture and wallpapers. And then indoor plants, which give more oxygen to the interior space. Daylight and views, texture variety, and again, use of natural fabrics, connection to outdoor spaces, and all that. So this is how we came across. I'll just light up the pictures, it's self-explanatory. The furniture is again in rattan, which we took from the Vicar story, and we tried to keep it with flowy lines, and even the reception table was done in, actually we wanted to get a block of stone, but it was not practical there, so we made it in fiber. These are some images where the flooring was all in micro-topping, and all the textures were lime plastered textures. So the doors were all done in jute, sandwich between glass. So all the colors, if you see, are derived again, the brown, beiges, and the whites from nature. So this is the place where we actually have the KBR view, and we put some mirrors also so that it gets reflected to wherever you see it from. So the night view, what we have. The client wanted some different, he wanted to be an anomaly. He wanted some different color in his space, so we tried to give him some vibrant color in his room. The spa area. Use of terracotta, again that's a micro-stopping texture what we have used. This is the second context where we designed a commercial and parking complex for the Yellamma temple in Balkampet. It's very close to our office. So this is how the scene is every year. You have thousands and lakhs of people coming in because they celebrate the Bonalu festival with so much of fervor and excitement, and they have cultural programs, music, and processions going on. So with this in mind, and our narrative, what we wanted to set was again tradition and culture inspired. And then we have, this was a site which you see this side, the red, and that is a temple, that side. You can see in the next slide. This is what we created, where there's a metal sheet at the back, and the front we have this, the structure in aluminum framing and the fabric, tensile fabric. And the Bonalu is dedicated to goddess Mahakali. So, I mean, just an abstract form, like a mural we created on the wall with stone and concrete, which depicts that. And the glass, if you see, it's a concave shaped glass, which we've used just to depict a symbolic way. And we also try to use some wood in the front to give a little modern character to the building. The third project, what I'll be showing is again how to create a brand story. So this is a nail bar which is there again in Kavuri Hills, right on the main busy commercial road. The context is commercial, and these are two young entrepreneurs who wanted to create their own brand. The brief given to us was very simple. It's a gender neutral place. It has to be luxurious because they wanted to start with a bang. They wanted all high-end clients. They wanted, you know, the space to look luxurious. And again, they also wanted simplicity, and it has to be delicate and graceful. So this was the layout which was done, with the nail stations and the front. And so this is how we went about doing the reception. We wanted to create some very energetic elements like the zigzag partition so that, you know, it creates some interest. We had MDF, CNC cut MDF letters on the wall, the finishes. The main area, which is the Naila station, we did it with the concept of the yin and yang, where we have positive and negative areas, where the private areas were housed inside and the general areas were outside. This is how we created the partition. And again, the lighting, profile lighting, which defines a way. And the stations had pink onyx stone in the front as cladding material. This is a dry bar, which we created like a feature wall there. The pedicure and the manicure areas. We use little curvilinear lines everywhere to make it more spacious. The cafe and the juice bar and the VIP room, where again the colors we have used differently. So when you talk about branding, it's also about colors, the finishing, which actually they have opened one more place in Dubai where they have used the similar colors and the palette, and also the logo which they've created was very, you know, dealt it in a different way. So this is their room where they wanted some to look professional at the same time feminine. My last project is the community park, which we recently pitched in and we got. We went about brainstorming what can we do. It's again, this was initial level where we thought we'll do community health related things like walking trails, bicycle track, outdoor gym, then sports and recreation like playground for children, sports fields for tennis, convention center which could house, because that was a requirement from them. It's a government initiative and they wanted a bigger space for convention for gatherings, like 600 people. And then we have the cultural space like open theater for around 300 people. The signage is public art, landscape and social spaces. This was the picture of the launch which we did, calling the entire community of that area. It was like a very political event for us. Whenever you're doing a project, even whatever, in whatever scale or whatever, whoever are your end users, the communication with them is very, very important. So in the end, just like to address and say a couple of lines for the students is be true to yourself and work with conviction, passion and integrity, because ultimately your designs are a true reflection of what you are as an architect.
The last but not the least, the third speaker for the evening, we have architect Prashanthi Narapasetti and architect Amulya Gullapalli from Design Dialogue.
A very good evening to all of you. Thank you, Triple ID, for giving us this wonderful opportunity to present our work once again and to connect with all you guys while we present our work and talk about our journey since the inception of the firm.
Here, we're showcasing a couple of residential projects that we've done. We try to highly personalize the spaces that we design, try to understand where the client is coming from, what their preferences are, and how their lifestyle is. So a couple of user-centric designs. So this project is a residential project that we've done in my home, Bhuja, for a client who's very well traveled and he had a passion for art, and he was very well traveled, and he also really liked the vintage rustic theme. So we try to incorporate the same in the space that is there. We've used really rustic natural stone that is very heavy. We try to fill in the living area wall with that. Whereas this is another living area from another project that we've done, wherein the family had two young daughters, and they had a feminine, like they were really keen on using pastels and floral elements. So this is how our approach to this project was. Again, this is another project that we've done, wherein the client was very keen on using neutral and subtle finishes. So here you understand how the design outcome changes so much based on the client. This is a nursery that we've designed, a 1500 SFT room that we had converted into a nursery in an existing bungalow. So we've made use of the natural light, and there were two toddlers using the space. So the idea was to screen the nap area and the play area and also make use of the maximum natural light that was coming in. And then I'd like to take you through our own office. So that, I think, amongst all the projects that we've done, this one was the most challenging. We tried to put in all the elements and all the philosophies that we believed in and create a space that was apt for our needs. So this is a conference room, and what you see behind is the workstation area and a small collaboration space. So yeah, these are the user-centric designs that we wanted to showcase. And moving on.
So similar to the spaces being very user-centric, we also would need to design spaces which would be brand-centric. So there are certain brands which would need multiple elements that would need to be showcased throughout design. So this particular one was one of our very initial projects. It is a space called Chai Kahani in Sainik Puri, which was a tea cafe, a very small tea cafe, but one of our most memorable projects that we've done. So these are the interiors. So in the interiors, you see a lot of natural elements which are used. So in fact, the chairs were all cane, and the curtains, basically the drapery which was used was all jute curtains. And in fact, once you enter into the space, you see an artwork which is done behind the previous slide. So you see an artwork in a floral form which is there. So in fact, this was one of the first cafes in the city that had artwork. So after which you see most of the cafes in the city having a lot of artwork and pastels, florals and all that. Moving on. So this is another image of the same space where we use Dholpur stone for the flooring. So here we've tried to have an indoor space and an outdoor space. So this is another project which is very brand-centric. So this was done for Pelli Sandadi by Velanki Foods. So it's another initiative that Velanki Foods came up with. This was in fact used as a storeroom, which was converted into a display space for their, for the display that they wanted to have for all these artifacts. So all of this, move on. So in fact, in the design, the left image that you see, we have umbrellas which are hanging upside down. So this was one of the products that they had on display as well. We, we use them as the design element itself. In fact, most of the elements that you see in the design are all products which were to be on display, but which were also used as a part of the design. So next up, so apart from being user-centric and brand-centric, we would also have to keep in mind this site, which is, we think one of the most important aspects. So this particular project was for a well-established fashion designer in Hyderabad. This is for Varun Chakilam. It's a studio on road number 10. I think most of you must have already seen this space. So in fact, this site was, just an extension to an existing building. There was nothing there except for the tree. So the first time we visited this site, one of the first things that caught our attention was the tree which was right in the center. So we decided to, sort of evolve the design around the tree itself. So with the tree being the focal point, we designed the space, keeping in mind the, the designer's aesthetic. So he needed something which was more, which would not take away the attention from the clothes itself, because that needed to be the focal attention once somebody walks in. So this particular area has a skylight, which was, kept in a way so that most of the light filters from here. And the later portion of the space is all lit up using artificial light. Another project that we've done was for a space company called Dhruva Space. So this was a mezzanine space that we've done for them. This was another fun project where you get to, we got to interact with a lot of nerds, basically. So our message today to all of you would be that as designers, one can only thrive through constant learning. Never stop learning and keep working towards your goals. Thank you.
And now I would like to invite on stage one by one. I'd request our Joint Honorary Secretary, Architect Naveel Chansani, for one last time to come and say the word of thanks.
Yeah, good evening, guys. Before, I want to tell just 3 important points. As one, our chairman, Manoj Bhai, said, like, it's like 19 years gap of each presentation. So the one who is here is so lucky to have these 3 variations. The second thing is, like, today is the last event of this term for Manoj Bhai, sir. So you guys are very lucky to have this one. And the third is, like, I want to thank the HOD and the principal of Roots. And your college is nicely connected to metro. Because I travel in metro to reach this place. So thank you, guys. All the best, and try to attend all these I3 series and workshops in future. Thank you.